Okay, well, thank you, everybody. I think we will call the regular council meeting to order for February the 23rd, 2026. Take the time to acknowledge the traditional territory of our friends, neighbors, and Treaty 8 partners of the Prophet River First Nation, as well as Port Nelson First Nation. We recognize our treaty and the rights within that treaty, and we also celebrate the contributions and enduring presence of the Métis people in our region. Please be advised that tonight's meeting is available for the public to attend virtually and is being streamed and recorded. Are there any council additions to tonight's agenda? Seeing none, is there any staff additions? Thank you. Is there any public online that wishes to address tonight's agenda? No? Okay. Adoption of the agenda is in order, please. Moved by Councillor Souls, second by Councillor Roper. All in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Thank you. There's one set of minutes there, a regional council meeting from February the 9th for adoption. Moved by Councillor Grewing. Do I have a second or Councillor Roper? Are there any errors or omissions? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. Is there any business arising from those minutes? Questions, comments, council, staff? No? Good. Okay, that takes us right into reports then. The first is administrative report number 1126 about the development variance permit for 4903 Sunset Drive. Now there is a legal opinion for this, which we need to go in camera to deal with it. Would we like to deal with it now, go in camera, or would we like to just put it to the end and deal with the in-camera meeting and then come back and deal with this?
I think my preference would be to push it to the end so we can continue the regular portion of the meeting. It's just hard to call people back if they're tuned in. So,
Yep. Okay.
But I'm open to suggestions.
Yeah, I think the legal opinion kind of speaks for itself, but I'm certainly okay with pushing this off till the end of the meeting then. Okay, so then let's go then to administrative report 1226, which is the FireSmart Resilience Committee recommendation. Staff, please.
Good evening. How are you? So we have a report here a bit on a recommendation from the committee to help with additional costs for Mr. Fulton to travel to the FireSmart convention and training that's scheduled in April. So Mr. Fulton was able to secure a $1,500 grant. I helped with going through his costs, and the committee had recommended that we come to council for an additional $1,500 and doing his travel stuff. It became apparent that wasn't going to be enough. I do have an estimate of approximately $2,400 in additional money that's required, but until he buys his tickets and all that stuff, I want to give us a bit of breathing room. So I'm here to ask for $3,000 to offset the remaining costs for his travel, flights, accommodation, registration, etc. All the travel will be paid at the municipal rates for kilometers and for per diems. So he'll submit a travel expense form and receipts when he's done, and away we go. That's the decision today. So you have two recommendations in front of you. One is to use the Community FireSmart Resiliency, the wildfire mitigation FireSmart activities budget, or that the Mr. Fulton be directed to submit an application to the government transfers program.
Any questions for staff, please?
So the report says that attendance at the training summit will strengthen local capacity in wildfire preparedness, community risk reduction, and the implementation of FireSmart principles. How does Mr. Fulton intend to share the knowledge that he has gained by attending this, what is it?
Wildfire Resiliency Conference.
Thank you. Thanks. The word escaped me. So yeah, so by attending this conference, how does he intend to share his learnings with, assuming by community, do you mean all of the communities in the NRM? Or are we talking just Toad River?
No, I think he'll bring that knowledge back to the committee as a representative of the committee as well as Toad River. It should be noted, we last year, our attendance was funded through the CRI. We didn't apply this, well, the applications after the closing date. So Mr. Fulton and Devin, FPO Devin Biancan are the only two attending from the municipality this year. It's in Victoria. So I think Mr. Fulton will bring that knowledge back to the committee as well as Toad River. So I hope that answers your question.
So did you say that the municipality has a staff member going as well, or that was last year only?
One staff member going this year. Last year there was 4 of us. But Devin's going for the training portion and the conference. Mr. Fulton's just going for the conference. He doesn't qualify for the training because he's not a staff member.
One more. So not to put you on the spot or anything, but if we already have somebody going that can bring back that information and learnings back to the committee, what's the justification for having an additional person going?
Well, it was a recommendation. I can't speak for the committee. It was a recommendation of the committee. I'm just a staff member at these meetings and can't give an opinion on the recommendations.
Thank you.
So I would say as one of the co-chairs on that committee that Tom is one of the busiest and most active members on that committee. And if anybody has the ability to absorb information and bring it back to us, I think it would be Tom. I think it helps us because I don't think he's missed a meeting, and he would be available to answer any questions and talk about, and I suspect give a report. And then he's also the prime contact in Toad River with respect to new information about equipment, both from a perspective of protection and from putting fires out, suppression. That's the word I'm looking at in Toad River. So I think I can attend. I was intending to attend, but the exact same time as Kofi, and I didn't get in time. I didn't get in time, and it's the conference it's so booked. It was so good last year that it's booked up almost immediately. So I think having 2 representatives, one from staff and one from the public, I think gives a different perspective with respect to the information that they gather and can share. Go ahead.
If I can add there are many seminars over those 3 days, and it would be impossible for one representative to attend them all. So I think when we went last year, we divided and conquered so that we weren't all sitting in the same seminars. I do think also that it'd be a perfect networking situation for Mr. Fulton. He's trying to get some prescribed burns for Toad River and is not getting a lot of traction. So this is a way for him to meet with individuals that could help him with that process as well. So I think there's added benefit to that as well.
Councillor Roper?
Yeah, I'd just like to commend Mr. Fulton for applying and being successful with that grant to offset the costs. I think it's of vital importance for this committee to be more involved in things like this. And I hope it's an educational experience and brings some good to the committee itself. And this is coming out of that budget that we taxed for on this year, correct? So there's no additional taxation to the
Last year.
last year. Yeah, no, 2025. All right. So yeah, I'm happy to support this, and please extend my thanks to Mr. Fulton for offsetting those costs.
Thank you. It is our intention in the next intake, which is due at the end of April, that we're preparing our submission for to send staff members to next year's conference, to send a good contingent. It's in Prince George next year, so it should be a whole lot cheaper for us to get to Prince George and Victoria. So I think we'll be able to send, 4 staff members to the next conference. But this year, because of the funding and the way the funding was structured, it was impossible for us to, we didn't put it in the budget, and UBCM changed the parameters of the grant funding. So it caught us a little bit flat-footed. But hopefully next year we'll be better prepared. It'll certainly be in our next submission.
Well, and for me, understanding what Tom does bring back, from a public perspective, I'm sure there'll be more of the committee that'll want to go to the one in Prince George next year. Right? I think there'll be multiple people who want to go to it, and his participation, I think, will help us to gauge the public good from sending them to these things. That's the wrong word I'm using, but you know what? It's the public perspective of sitting in some of these conferences, I think.
And I learned a whole lot
Yeah.
last year in my first session. So.
If you always send staff, then your members don't necessarily get a well-rounded education in what can be, not just what we're doing. I mean, they understand what we're doing, but it's what can be. That's what you learn at some of these conferences. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, follow through with that. Yeah.
Thanks, Councillor Schultz. So my, why I wanted to bring it up was just, I wanted to, see if there was a mechanism to bring back the information to the committee. So not just sending somebody, paying for somebody to go, not that that's not valuable, but I'm hoping that the committee would put in place some sort of mechanism for whomever attends, that information is brought back to the committee as a whole.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So if you can ask Tom to.
We'll ask Tom to write a book report.
Yeah. Councillor Schultz, please.
So I'm assuming that the $1,500 FireSmart grant is a UBCM grant
Yes,
also for the purpose of this kind of travel,
it's
right?
only for FireSmart. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, so their fund didn't include it. It was sort of like living in a faraway place from a healthcare point of view, and the extra cost that comes with living where we are. So that point is one that we as staff could actually take to FireSmart and say, hey, look, it costs us way more to train our people, and we're the capital fire center of the province. We burned more area in our area than anywhere else.
Maybe combined.
Yes, combined. And I think it's actually worth a pitch, and maybe staff figure out, that it's in Prince George next year. The year after next, it should be in Fort Nelson. And I think that kind of thing is to pitch that, because I am in favor. I know Tom, and he's the right kind of person to send into this type of training, because he won't keep it to himself when he comes home, no matter what, just by virtue of how he is. And so I think that the more people that get trained in this, the more we will have a realistic picture of how to manage the wildfire situation in our own community and region. And I think that we're deficient in that. And we've complained about it over the years with, you get BC Wildfire put in here, and they just like drop in parachutes, and it's nothing against them, but they don't know the area. And you bring some of that same training into some of our leaders in our community. That's the kind of difference. It'll make a difference in the long run in ours. So I'm definitely in favor.
Okay, anybody else? Then I need a motion, please.
I would move the recommendation that Regional Council approve the Community FireSmart and Resiliency Committee's recommendation to support Tom Fulton's attendance at the Wildfire Resiliency and Training Summit by allocating funding of $3,000 from the Northern Rockies Regional Municipalities Wildfire Mitigation of FireSmart activities budget to supplement the $1,500 FireSmart grant already awarded to the applicant.
Thank you. Moved by Councillor Roper. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Schultz, thank you very much. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Are there any opposed? That carries. Thank you. Thanks. Okay, then that takes us to correspondence. There are two pieces of correspondence for discussion. One is an email from Carmen Willen, the safety risk at the highway entrance to Serving Peak Mountain, and the second, a letter from Bob Gammer, community relations. Can I have somebody put those on the floor, please? Moved by Councillor Souls. Do I have a seconder? Deputy Mayor Goering, thank you very much. All in favor? Opposed? Not opposed. Those are on the floor. So for discussion is the letter from the Peace River Regional District with respect to the safety at the entrance to the Pink Mountain Lodge. Anybody have any comments about this? Did staff put it on there for a reason?
I think just for discussion, it was just an interesting.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that the Peace River Regional District responded this way. It's in their area, particularly in Area B. My fear is that if they're not prepared to take this on as a safety concern and a concern in the highway, that you won't get much traction anywhere if we continue. I think we've done what we can. I think any opportunity we get to talk to anybody at the Ministry of Transportation in our lobbying efforts, we put in a good word. But you know, unless the Councillor Enax is prepared to take it on personally, I don't know that we can go any further with it. My thoughts.
I was going to mention that too, that I don't think that we can do a whole lot, but I think it's very important that it's on the record that we're in the conversation to try to get something rolling on it. Simply because I mean, I've been by there a couple of times too and looked at the scenario, and there's ways of mitigating that with the Cypress Creek Road and that, but there's a bunch of work that would have to be done in order to make that work.
Yeah.
And so who's going to do that? Who's going to promote it? I don't think that there will be much more discussion about this one unless there's an accident at the road.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think you're right, Councillor Souls. The highways did do something. They put up no parking signs along the road there where the trucks were parking in the turning lane. So I mean, they did that, but I don't think it's enough myself. But yeah, okay. If there's nothing else, we'll move on to the second piece of correspondence, which is the letter from Bob Gammer with respect to a letter we sent him around outages, pole removals during the cold weather. So that's on the floor for discussion. Anybody would like to speak to that?
I found it really awesome to watch there's been pole replacement going on all week out along our road there. And even with it at -30, there's pole replacement going on, but not the stage of where they have to turn the power off, which is very kind of them. They're going to postpone that. I think they'll have most of the poles that have to be changed out done by, this Wednesday, where there's another scheduled power outage, and then they'll probably shut it off for a few hours and do the hot work. And anyway, but I wanted to hand it to our local BC Hydro people that actually are willing to they knew they couldn't shut off last week because it was -31 the day that they were scheduled to on Wednesday. And yet they created and they infilled their week with the actual some of the work that they were planning on doing on that time. And I hats off to them. They know how to work in the cold too. It's good.
Yeah, I thought it was a well-crafted letter outlining their rationale for the decisions that they make. You can agree with them or not, but they are they're given due consideration when they're making these decisions. So my only comment further to that would be, are we going to ensure that the gentleman that sent us the original email, and I'm sorry, I've forgotten his name.
Dennis Thompson.
Thank you, that he will get a copy of this letter. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, so I would again send him a letter and commend him for bringing it up in the first place, and you know, that they've given us their answer, and I would agree that it's well crafted in that they've really responded to the very specific questions that we asked, and we see them. Maybe we held their feet to the fire a little bit based on what Councillor Souls has observed on his road, and that, you know, they talked about having manpower and our personnel available to be able to do this while it's still hot, and not having to take the power down. And you know, it's obvious that they, whether it's because we held their feet to the fire or not, they've responded in fashion to make sure there's fewer shutdowns. So
I just want to be sarcastic for one moment.
well, not on. Please.
At least the letter didn't say no further action will be taken.
Oh, okay. Okay, so unless there's any more comments, we will move on from that. So there are 3 pieces of correspondence for information. I have somebody. There is a letter from the Regional District Chair of Nanaimo Search and Rescue Organizations and Funding. There is an email from a student at Camosun College with respect to unity around democratic principles because of what happened in Tumbler Ridge. And there's a letter from the Northern Rockies Senior Society with respect to busing. I'm looking for a resolution to accept these for information. Please move by Deputy Mayor Gerwing. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Souls. All in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Thank you. Okay, there is no new business. Councillor reports is next. Anybody have any reports? Councillor.
On February 10th, I attended the Grace Manor board meeting, and just a quick update that the board continues to work on updating their policy and procedures, and work continues in preparation for the major upgrade project that will be beginning in March. And they have a tenant meeting with the project managers and BC Housing for February 26th. February 11th, I attended a webinar hosted by the BC Policy Solutions, where Marcy Cohen presented on the future of primary care in BC and highlighting the not-for-profit model, and it was very well done. February 12th, I attended the Chamber of Commerce board meeting, and you probably already all know, but Bev Vandersteen, executive director for the past 16 years, announced her retirement effective at the end of August of this year. Along with most of you, I attended the February 17th and 18th budget meetings, and on the 19th, I attended the BC Rural Health Network Implementation Committee, where we had a very interesting presentation by Heidi West, who's the executive director of the Mary Berglund Community Health Center Hub in Ignace, Ontario. She presented on how their community health center was working, and it was phenomenal to see everything that they're able to do. Their population is 1,200 people, and it's just amazing what they have been able to accomplish with a not-for-profit model. February 19th, attended the Doig Land Use Planning meeting, and in the background, I've been working on the Community Healthcare Stabilization Committee. Thanks.
Okay, so for me, I also attended the budget meetings last week, which we were all part of. We had a primary care committee sort of working group discussion on the 19th. But on the 15th, I attended the vigil for the Tumbler Ridge folks, and I thought it was well attended for a cool evening. They had a fire going there. The nation was represented. Ourselves, we were represented. Community was well represented. The first responders were well represented with the RCMP, and as well as our fire rescue team. So a somber event, obviously, around the circumstances. But as a group, I think we sent our love and our message of love to Tumbler Ridge, and yeah, it was. I still find myself a little bit emotional but it was an emotional event, and we're there to help them wherever we can, and our staff are doing that. So thank you to the staff who are doing that, and let's make sure they're looked after when they get back, please. That can be a sobering thing to go to a community and have to deal with them, and so let's make sure our folks are looked after. And I think the Doig land use, and then I am very looking forward to this meeting we have with the Casca coming up this coming Friday. So yeah, that's my report. Anybody else?
Can I respond to you? I want to commend you for the work with that Saturday event, the Tumbler Ridge one. Sorry, I couldn't be here. I was attending my stepmother's funeral the same day. But, I wanted to commend your involvement and our community's involvement for that, because I see those types of coming together around a tragedy as a great value in bringing people together. So kudos.
Councillor Romer.
And I'd just like to thank Ashley Murphy, who was one of the driving forces behind that. She came to visit me at the theater. I was able to connect her with John Roberts at the rec center, and it didn't take a few hours before it was planned and they had a location. And it's just great to see the community work together and something able to come together so quickly. It was just very heartening to see that.
Yeah.
And I was able to go to the vigil shortly. I helped out with the sound system ahead of time, and I was working at the theater, but I was able to drop in. And yeah, it was a great moment for grieving for the community.
Ashley was so nervous.
Yeah, she
so
was.
nervous, but she did a great job
She
holding it
did.
all together.
Absolutely, yeah, everyone did. Yep.
Okay, thank you. 10.2 is business outstanding, which is a proposal from Councillor Enax, who is not here. So I don't know if we should pass that off to anybody to talk about tonight. No,
No, but I can go off the fly if you want.
well, I was just going to postpone it till she comes back.
Oh, well, I just think we need to look at the deadlines for applications then, because there is a deadline.
Okay,
I know the last time we hosted it was in 2018, and it was very well attended. We had people from all across the province in our community, so it really provided a lot of needed dollars at the time in our community in terms of, I think all the hotels were booked, and then restaurants, and we had caterers, sound system people. Yeah, I think that it's well worth doing, and I would fully support it.
okay, then I'm going to speak against it. And it not because of all the things you've said. I think all the things you said and are perfect. And all of the feedback I got when I was Mayor in Taylor, I couldn't attend it when it was in Fort Nelson, but all the feedback I got from our councillors who did attend was that it was a fantastic event here. My concern is timing. The spring of 2027 will be extremely busy around here. Got a new CIO. You'll have a completely new council, potentially. And many staff members are just moving into their new roles as the succession planning moves up into the early of that year. For me, a 28 or 29 year would be more appropriate once we're through that transition between the new CAO, senior staff moving up into their and having a new council who will be 6 months into the council maybe at that time. And you all know the work that's involved with pulling something like this off. It's huge. So that would be my druther is that we postpone it and look at a 28 or 29 year. Anybody else? Comments? I mean, we can, sure. I was just saying we could put it to staff and get their perspective on it with respect to the amount of staff work that it took the last time and what it might take this time and whether it's doable.
So, I mean, I have no issue in if you want to wait a year or two, but I think we could look at what that proposal parameters look like. We can get prepared. And we could actually do a submission that says that we're interested in doing it for 2028 as opposed to 2027. Not very. Sometimes they award 2 years. So they'll do 27 and 28. I'm not exactly sure what this proposal looks like this year. But if they are, then I think that we could use that opportunity to get into 2028. And in terms of your concern around capacity, given that it's a new council, a new CAO, and like, you know, it's like feet to the fire. And I guess the other thing I would want to say is that, like, we can assume that staff is going to be stable throughout the next however many years, but you don't really know that, right? So you can't.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay.
Mayor, I think that's a very thoughtful approach. I think you're taking a lot of things into consideration. And I think if we go ahead and peel back those layers the next year, we'll probably find more reasons not to do it if whatever we're working on. So for me, I'm all about, yeah, like Lorraine said, Councillor Gerwing said, Deputy Mayor said, jump in, and make the best of it. I think it would be good for new staff to get that experience and have that under their belt. So, but either way, next year or the year after, I'm just happy that we'd be hosting it. So,
and I do want to add, they do have an event coordinator, right? So the community isn't left on its own to manage everything. So I'll just throw that out there.
Well, the lead time is really important, more so now than it was in 2018, because not only does the council and the staff have to respond So do restaurant owners. There's way fewer of them than there were in 2018. Hotels, motels are not fully staffed to be really full. I mean, you look at what a scramble it is if you even have a project, an oil patch project or something that comes to town and fills up 2 or 3 of the motels, and there's not enough bodies to look after it. And it's not that. I think lead time is the way to deal with that. It's not so much that we would turn anyone away, say, "Oh, we can't host you because we don't have the capacity." We would have to be far enough ahead that we can build the capacity that is needed for an event like that.
So how would we like to proceed?
May I make a suggestion?
Sure.
That staff look into what the deadline option or what the deadline is on submission deadline. Sorry for the scrambling words here. That staff look into what the deadline submission for the North Central Local Government Association's annual general meeting
And conference.
and conference and yeah, bring that information back. And so if it's a 2-year submission, then that will help to guide us. If
Mhm.
it's a 1-year, so yeah. So without that more specific detail, I think it's hard to make a decision.
I'm fine with that approach. So it would be direction to council, or sorry, direction to staff, I guess, to bring back the application process and the timing of that to the next meeting?
Yeah.
So is that doable?
Yeah, yeah, because it's just a bit of research, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I think it's
Yeah.
April.
Oh, it's all
And
right
I think
there.
it's in the end of April, and it's pretty straightforward in terms of the process itself. I mean, it's a fair bit of work to go through the planning of it, but to present the council what the process is, it's really straightforward for sure.
And you
Okay.
can always check with the executive director too, Terry Roberts, on that second year. So if nothing's listed about 2028 or 2029, then yeah, check with Terry Roberts and he'd be able to provide more information.
Good. Okay, thank you. Are there any notice of motions? Seeing none, and is there any anybody on the online that wishes to ask a question? Okay, seeing none, then resolution to move in camera is appropriate for section 91I of the community charter, which is advice that is subject to solicitor client privilege. Moved by Deputy Mayor Gerwing. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Roper, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. We're moving camera. And for those online, once we come back out, there will be a discussion then about item report 7.1, report number 11 on the Sunset Drive variance for off-street parking requirements when we come back. Thank you. Okay, thank you, everybody. We are finished with the in-camera portion of tonight's meeting, where we considered a legal opinion with respect to this next report, which is Administrative Report 1126. So we'll put that on the table now for discussion. Staff?
Thank you, Mayor. So before you use a report in follow-up to a previous report, as well as a presentation that was provided to Regional Council on February the 9th concerning the Aboriginal Housing Management Association's application for a development variance permit to vary the off-street parking requirements of the zoning bylaw for proposed development at 4903 Sunset Drive. So the variances being requested, there's 3 sections of the zoning bylaw, and I apologize, in the recommendation it notes sections 4.3.1, 4.3.2, and 4.8.1, and the second one should actually be 4.3.6. So there's a bit of an error there. So essentially, following the February 9th council meeting, we undertook the public notification process in accordance with section 499 of the Local Government Act. We have not received any comments from the adjacent property owners. And there's some information in the report that reflects at a high level the staff's recommendation around the mechanism or tool that could be used to grant the necessary rights to park within the road right-of-ways. as well as some considerations around timing of the agreement in consideration of the drainage plan that we're working with the applicant to have that submitted. So, in consideration of all the information that's been provided, as well as our public notification process, our recommendation is that the DVP number 2502 be approved to vary those 3 sections of the zoning bylaw to permit a reduction in the number of the off-street parking spaces required to fully service that proposed development at 4903 Sunset Drive.
Thank you. Council's comment. Any? Okay. What are your wishes?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that the regional council approve the development variance permit number DVP 2502 to vary sections 4.3.1, 4.3.6, and 4.8.1 of the Northern Rockies Regional Municipality zoning bylaw number 119, 2016 to permit a reduction in the number of off-street parking stalls required to be fully located on site at 4903 Sunset Drive from 29 stalls to 17 stalls, and to vary the required dimensions of 1 parking stall, and that issuance of the development variance permit be conditional on the owner entering into an agreement with the Northern Rockies Regional Municipality respecting authorized use of the required portion of municipal road right-of-way necessary to accommodate parking stalls and maneuvering areas in a form satisfactory to the municipality, with finalization of the agreement contingent on approval of the drainage plan by Public Works.
You're welcome.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Gerwig. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Sol's second. Is there any discussion? My only comment is that I would like to see this expedited as much as possible by the planning staff and the and Public Works to work appropriately. It's got to be done right, but that we expedite the process, because the building season is coming soon, and I'd sure like to see them have all the opportunity, if they're able to proceed. It's ultimately their decision, but if they're able to proceed, that they have the entire building season this summer to go ahead with it. So that's my only comment. Anybody else? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? Opposed? It's carried. Thank you very much.
And just to add, this has been a priority for our department to ensure that any development of this nature we prioritize. I will contact them tomorrow and give them the good news.
Okay, yeah, and different department of Public Works though. So if you can pass along our concerns to Public Works so that they can work on this. Good. Okay, there was nothing to rise with the report. Adjournment is in order, please. Moved by Councillor Souls, second by Councillor Roper. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you all.